Hi everyone, I'm Ryan.
Hi, I'm Josh.
And we're Human Intelligence News. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to be talking about some of the issues of local weather, including some recent storms we've had. You know, this is the first time I've ever heard of this. In Lake Elsinore, they had a monsoon in the last couple months.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
And I believe we've also been having basically extreme rains and colds during normal times when we would have extreme heats. And then on top of that, we've been having, what was the exact dates? I believe we found a nice chart that summarizes it here.
It's odd. In the months of November, March, and August, they were colder than average. Is that the one you were talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, it's odd. But really, it's showing us even a local trend of erraticism in our weather. It's hotter some months than normal by as much as 2 degrees. It's colder some months than normal by as much as 2 degrees. And it's almost every month we're seeing this kind of trend.
And they're actually seeing it wreak havoc in the plant life and in the trees and this sort of thing. And we'll discuss that deeper later in our discussion.
Yeah, we actually have a longer term conversation on that subject. Moving on, we're going to go into the Press Enterprise is reporting Professor Robert Allen.
Yeah. It looks like he's experimenting on himself in this picture.
Yeah, he looks like he's like, what's rain on the face like? I've never felt it.
Oh yeah, Professor Allen over at UCR.
UCR, he's saying that we're going to end up with a more rain in California. Generally as an average.
I believe he describes
that's misleading in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah. Well, he describes it as El Nino-like events, but they're going to be focused more up in the Northern California area, and it'll be over a period. I believe he extends the research out to 2050 or somewhere around thereabouts. So it makes it sound by first look that we're going to be getting more rain overall, but when you actually look deeper into his writings, Southern California is still actually going to end up being much lower on the rainfall over the long term and much hotter temperatures.
And he's also saying that there's going to be a greater standard deviation, which means there's going to be longer periods of hot and dry seasons and longer periods of or shorter periods of bursts of a lot of rain happening in a very short amount of time, kind of like what we've been seeing in all over the Inland Empire for the last several months. This summer has been kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, very confusing stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So overall, that goes along with what we've been seeing locally. Next up, we've got KVCR's reporting. Overall, there's issues with the California drought. It's because it's over, the trees are still, but the trees are still dying.
Yeah, you were saying this has to do with the trees experiencing several years of low water input and extreme heat, and it's deteriorating them. And I believe the moral of the story was that it's making bark beetles spread
that was
in an unprecedented rate, right?
But overall, through our discussions and more through some more research, we realized that this is more of an issue where the trees are more susceptible to all kinds of different problems, including this kind of pestilence issue with these bark beetles, but also, I mean, fire. We've had fires.
That's the bigger problem, actually.
Like crazy.
That's they're calling it the Great Southern California Burn, actually. Yeah. And even Oregon has been experiencing
Washington and Oregon has had historically bad fires
They're
this year.
actually experiencing in Northern California the ashfall similar to that of when St. Helen exploded.
Right,
so,
and that's pretty dramatic.
Yeah, it's really dramatic.
Put it into kind of global events. Mount St. Helens is still up there.
And it's costing us a lot of money, too. So
absolutely. Billions, not millions.
Yeah, so that's a very important fact, okay? So, so that's California. That's the United States.
United States overall. We did some investigation on hurricanes. And what are their causes?
Well, first up, before we go into hurricanes, we would like to say all of us should care about this. If you're going to donate money, we should donate money to somewhere that's on the ground already in the areas that are hit.
The local charities are the most beneficial from at least our understanding from our research in the last few days. So that's where we'll be giving money. Also, we'd like to actually acknowledge the issues that our friends in Bangladesh are up against.
Yeah, so
they've also had hurricanes and some really historic flooding that one monsoon killed like 1,200 people.
Yeah, so there's flooding
really
across
tragic.
the country. It's also being compounded by a human
floods.
Problem. Also, there's a lot of refugees fleeing over the border.
Right.
Some sort of possible ethnic cleansing going on in other countries.
Like really dark stuff, and we'll try and research and get back to you on that.
Yeah,
as soon as we can.
So it's a compounded issue. All these people have refugee camps in Bangladesh, and they're dealing with the flooding. And I believe, how many millions of people is this affecting across all countries?
40 million people affected in India, Bangladesh, and Nepal.
Altogether, yeah.
Right, in a recent study by these the Chinese, the South China Morning Post, this is going to start costing the region $115 billion every year, starting in 2030. And this is based on a study that a reporter was reading. So, some serious stuff. And stuff that we probably should acknowledge, and we get into that deeper. But first off, we wanted to kind of have a lighter point. We kind of figured out what the heck a hurricane was.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes. A good professor from MIT helped us along with this one.
Yes, thank you.
We butchered it probably after sitting through all of his work.
Professor Emmanuel from MIT, a climate researcher, actually answered the question here.
I'm Kerry Emanuel. I'm a professor of atmospheric science at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and I study tropical phenomena like hurricanes and also climate, particularly the climate of the tropics.
What is a hurricane? If you look at a meteorological glossary, you'll see that it is defined as a tropical cyclone with winds in excess of about 74 miles per hour occurring over the North Atlantic or eastern North Pacific. So it's a strictly regional term for a generic phenomenon that we call tropical cyclones.
So basically, the moral of the story is that hurricane is actually a local term, kind of like the pound or the
inch,
mile or kilometer.
Yeah, that kind of argument is the same with hurricanes because scientifically they're all cyclones. Right?
Yeah, and also we will later go into further depth on to the relationship between hurricanes and global temperatures and what have you. So anyway, I believe that's about what we're covering today.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
No, I've got this. Oh, remember? Hurricane almost hit the Inland Empire.
Oh, this is right. Some historic fun facts since we're talking about weather. So Inland Empire, we are not out of the woods.
No, evidently, we've actually been hit by a hurricane. Well, it's actually a cyclone because of what we talked about before.
I think it was San Diego, not Inland.
But NOAA on their website had a headline on an article saying that a hurricane almost hit San Diego in 1800 and whatever. And we're like, wait a minute. So we checked it out, and inside the paper, it didn't ever mention hurricane.
It says cyclone specifically.
It's cyclone specifically over and over and over. But the headline was like hurricane, and so I think honestly, we're gonna want it to be called a hurricane. If we get hit by a cyclone, people are gonna say like, "Oh, that's not as bad as a hurricane."
Yeah, we need a California hurricane. That's what we need to call it. Yeah.
I think if we ever get hit, God forbid, by a hurricane,
first stage,
almost again,
create a hurricane beverage that is of our own design. Call it the California Hurricane.
California Hurricane.
I think that's a start.
Drink. Hopefully it won't come. We don't want to.
No, yeah. We'll make the drink in hopes we have to never use it. It'll be like a nuclear weapon that we design the drink.
It'll be so bad.
Yes.
Maybe that's it. We make it really bad.
Yeah, really bad drink. So
just a little
on our
cap
next
full
episode,
of toothpaste.
We'll let you know what we came up with.
And the shoe leather.
I really hope we don't make it out toothpaste and shoe leather.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Ryan.
I'm Josh. This was Human Intelligence News.
He said it.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.